Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a pretty big serious issue going on right this second when it comes to the PlayStation 5. Now, as you guys may or may not have had a chance to go and see throughout the years, we've been seeing a big influx of, well, really mediocre, bad indie games, basically asset flips, which essentially means it's a company that is just doing the bare minimum, utilizing things like AI, finding things like Unreal Engine, just basically copying, pasting, and making the most bare bone games. And as well, we've also had a really big insurgence of games that are just basically meant to give you free trophies. Think about a game that will give you a trophy if you just unironically press up on your controller. You go and you press start button, or you go and play the game for 5-10 minutes, you go basically sit AFK, and then you have a chance to go and get random trophies, which a lot of people don't like. Number one, because it's just shovelware. It's gross, it's garbage, it's mediocre, and there's no actual soul or passion into it. And as well, anyone who's a big trophy hunter trying to get like these platinums on their games hates it because it takes away the legitimacy of it. Someone could go and spend $50 and buy 50 different games all for $1 each, is basically having a chance to get a lot more trophies than, say, someone who legitimately plays games and tries to beat them to the full. And of course, as well, normal indie game studios despise it because all these really mediocre, bad shovelware games are ending up on the front of the games on the wish list, and basically just people hate this stuff. It's horrible. It's just very low effort garbage that's filling up the PlayStation console. And we've talked about this on a few separate occasions, but right now, once again, we're seeing another big resurgence of just these games taking over the PlayStation Store, and people are not happy, and I myself think it's a bigger issue than most people are letting on. So I'm going to talk about that throughout this video, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have our PS5 Pro giveaway going on right now on the channel itself, so subscribe right now. And as well, for our second YouTube account, we have the Twitters and Twitch down below. And of course, we have all the affiliate links down below for all the consoles. PS5's on sale, PSVR 2's on sale, and of course the Pros, all linked down below. And let's go and dive into the fact that this is a big problem. Now, I want to go and highlight over here too, this is in regards to OKRain1938, who actually made this initial Reddit thread. Talk about this thing, if you've checked the games to wishlist section on the PS5 recently, you might have noticed something frustrating. It's completely flooded with low effort, shovelware, quote-unquote, games from a shady developer exploiting Sony's system. These aren't real games. They're quickly made asset flips with fake release dates, and the developer is abusing the system to then go and dominate the visibility. Now, as well, we've also been seeing, I can actually show you guys a good example of this in a second over here, but here's just a good rough example of it, where it's basically just these games are utilizing things like AI creation, and then trying to go and just copy paste, whether it's from assets, stolen assets, Unreal Engine assets, or as well just using AI itself to go and try to completely just take over all of these wish lists. It's horrible. It's horrible. So anyway, so I completely zoomed that out. My bad on that one. So basically, this isn't the first time it's happened. Sometimes back, the same developer got caught gaming the games to wishlist section by assigning release dates years in the future to push their games to the top of the list. In response, Sony changed the section to prioritize games coming out to the soonest instead. But the developer didn't even try to hide their sleazy tactics. They simply started sending all their games to release tomorrow and then changing the date every single day. So let's go have a good example, and I even want to go whip out maybe Steam as a good example for this one. If you guys don't know, Steam is the big platform, obviously, for PC games, where basically there is subsections such as the PlayStation Network or things such as Steam, where you can have a chance to go look at the upcoming games. And even no matter if even people don't buy the game or not, it still is free publicity. And sometimes all it takes is like maybe 50 people to go download and buy your game for it to end up on a trending list or end up on the most wish listed list or whatever it might go and be. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you guys over here for Steam. This is obviously on the PlayStation Network, but trying to go and show this as an easy example for you all. We're basically on some of these subsections, say also as well for PlayStation, they'll have things out here too that'll have like upcoming games. It's a little bit weirder though because they have these, let's say like here's a good example, upcoming. So all these types of games are not necessarily out as of right this second. So what this developer is doing has been either gaming the system through favorites, basically trying to go and incentivize people to favorite their games with really cool AI pictures, or as well keep on perpetually moving their game to an upcoming. So it's always gonna be like, hey, it's coming out tomorrow. I Am Cat, great game. It's coming out tomorrow, quote unquote. And you guys can kind of go and see how they're basically gaming this system itself as a whole. So basically, Sony has had a chance to go change some things and adjust some things out there, but right now they're even doing more. And this is kind of a big case, because as I mentioned, they have these things like this, which I wish the zoom in wasn't that, a little bit better. But basically, they'll just have these really overall just mediocre games that are flooding on in here. It's just being flooded over here with random AI. Very easy to go and just tell some of these things are absolutely fake. And some of these things are also just assets stolen from different games out there. And that's where things get really annoyed and gross. Now, some of these are legitimate games, but a lot of them are not. So basically, they're using fake names to flood the store. So the developer now operates under more than a dozen fake company names. So not alone are they gaming the system by having things either showing up early, changing the release dates nonstop, so it's kind of in that algorithm, as I showed you guys over on Steam, or as well utilizing things like AI just to make the title and cover look cool so people might buy it. But as well, we've also had the same issues too, where a lot of these game demos have been just being shoveled by horrible games. Where they have even, once again, for this is like a few months ago, where the PS Store demo section is increasingly becoming clogged with shovelware, further exasperating the long-running issue that Sony has been unable to resolve. They reported this back in 2022, and I myself actually covered this because I don't like this. Like, I like indie games on things like consoles. I like indie games on PlayStation. I know a lot of indie game developers from me doing stuff on Twitch and YouTube and all that, where I want their games to succeed. I want more PC games to end up on PlayStation, because at the end of the day, if you guys are PlayStation users, that just means more fun games for you guys to get to go and play and enjoy. What is wrong with that? Now, some people like the idea of gaming this system and getting platinum trophies, but I myself don't really like it because it kind of takes away the legitimacy and the reason for these platinum trophies in the first place. If you can basically go and do either like say demos or spend 30 cents to go buy a game and you basically get all these trophies a lot to your account, then it kind of takes away the legitimacy of it. Same thing too as well when it comes to people on Xbox who do the same thing with Gamerscore too as well. So yeah, basically all these companies out here just keep on trying to circumvent literally everything, dude. Like this game's demo is just stupid. Like here's a good example: A Burger in Space, Quiz This, United Kingdom. Just all these really mediocre games all floating on in over here for these demos too as well. And this is kind of the same exact vibe. So basically, this company now has multiple shadow companies like Midnight Works SLR, Cool Devs SRL, Gaming Dev SRL, and more. It's just to confirm that all these games are by the same developer because they're basically on a lot of different platforms. They're all published under the same exact name. The games all share nearly identical AI generated box art too, with very minimal basic gameplay, so it's barely even a game. And as well, once again, as mentioned, a lot of this stuff is just AI art that's just basic. It's like you plug this in a chat GPT for 2 seconds and they'll have a chance to go be like, oh cool, look, this is I want Dr. Lady for a game, Dr. Similar. It's like, bro, what is this? It's ruining like actual game developers. It's making the PlayStation game just seem like it's stupid because it's so easily gameable. A lot of these are also simulators too as well, which is kind of stupid because it kind of gives people a free pass. We've seen a big influx of simulator games like American Truck Sim. You even look at Microsoft Flight Sim. Those are some more of the big AAA names out there. But as well, they've also had other various games like Thief Simulator or like Gas Station Simulator, which are fun games. Power Washing Sim. They're all legitimate games with a cool premise behind them, but it's kind of once again kind of going to the big trend, and then it kind of gives them the quote-unquote free pass to be very lazy shovelware content that no one really wants. It's also dominating this wish list section right this second, because as of this second, this random game company that's completely gaming the system has around 60 of the top 65 entries in the games to wish list section, completely burying legitimate indie developers who rely on the section. So once again, this is taking away from legitimate games, like people who have maybe spent years and maybe thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to either port their games from Steam to PlayStation, or as well just from maybe a random guy or girl who's this has been their passion. They've been working on it for the last few years and they want to go and sell it. Or once again, maybe games that have done well on say Xbox or like the Switch or on Steam, and they want to maybe port it over to PlayStation. But if these games are getting buried, getting no publicity, and they're legitimate games, they're not going to want to go bring over other games out there. It bodes very, very poorly for the indie game category and section. So they also have a lot of these fake games with no substance because these games are just quickly produced. You make them in a weekend or a week or so. They're asset flips, basically utilizing things like Unreal Engine or other various basically like game development type engines and making them really, really basic. They have no objectives, they have no gameplay, and a typical title might let you maybe drive this bulldozer around the town with no mechanics. So it's basically kind of being almost like a tech demo, for lack of better terms. Like, yeah, you might have a chance to go drive a random, say, as I use this example, bulldozer. But like a fun game would be just like you have to destroy a certain amount of the town, and then you get to go and progress later on. You maybe get to go and, I don't know, think like a Crazy Taxi. If you had Crazy Taxi and all you did was drive around the taxi, that's fun, I guess. Maybe, but the crazy taxi is like you have the game onto it where like you have to go to certain areas and you have to go race against time and make money. Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like there's actual substance to the game itself. And well, these games don't have that. They're just really basic, bare bones games. And a lot of these games are not even approved for the PS5, which is crazy because they've only ever been approved for the PS4. And right this second, they're exploiting this wishlist system then to go and get this PS5 dashboard. So obviously, because you play PS4 games on your PS5, it kind of still is kind of interchangeable. So basically, right this point is stupid. Like it's basically had a chance to flood up the PS5 subsection with the wish list and all these other very mediocre games too as well. And I do think this is kind of a bigger deal because a lot of people are saying like this is horrible too because they're stealing assets maybe from different games. They also have a chance too as well feeling bad for indie devs as I've talked about too as well because they're trying to polish the stuff. And here's the picture too as well where it's just this AI weird integration of just very mediocre games too as well. And it's not cool. Like basically saying why is it our fault for consumers? And it really isn't. PlayStation has to do this themselves too as well, and it kind of does go and suck. Like it basically has the PlayStation Store and these games to wish lists on these collections, and once again they're basically just going over here and scheming and scamming up people by these weird AI fake games that are not even real, but due to the fact of them being overly wish listed because them either scamming or paying money for it or just gaming the system, it takes away from indie developers. So I want to hear your thoughts and comments. I hope PlayStation can go and fix this. It's kind of a big deal at the end of the day, and I want to have our PlayStation ecosystem filled with really good, well-developed games from basically good developers. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. And for our PS5 Pro giveaway, we also have the Twitter down below, the two Twitters, a Twitch down below as well. And of course, all the affiliate links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.